Jasmin Kwan is an alumni of Cornish College of the Arts, graduating with a major in photography and printmaking. Currently, she works in an auto shop and does freelance photography on the side.
Uh, well, it's a really small school. I think there's maybe 600 students total through all of the classes and all of the disciplines. So it's very unique in the way that you sort of like knew people, even if they weren't in your discipline. So a lot of art and design majors knew each other. You are eating lunch with the theater and the dance majors. Um, so I definitely don't feel like I had like a true college experience. I didn't really go to frat parties or like there's no like sports games to go to. I had to live vicariously through friends who like went to the UW. Um, so I guess Cornish has a school that was like I think we had a Quidditch team. I mean, it was very like obscure art school kids. Like I joined Cheese Club where every Thursday we would meet up and just try different cheeses. I mean, it's definitely like there was no like Spanish language club or anything like that. It was like some weird obscure, like there was like an ultimate frisbee team, uh, but it was all student run. It was nothing like through the school. I think the school was a vessel for people who were really into a certain thing, like playing Quidditch or ultimate frisbee. Yeah, it didn't feel like a big, 40,000 student university where you can go to a football game and uh, walk around campus. It was like everyone sort of knew each other already. So
Mhm.
we were just like, it felt like high school again. College is always going to be like a really formative time of your life. It doesn't matter what you major in. I mean, there's so much available to you as a college student. You get discounts, you get, there's always somebody that knows somebody. If you want to like do an internship or there's just lots of opportunity for students um, and youth especially. So yeah, I'd say just you learn a lot of life skills. You learn how to balance a schedule on your own. You kind of get to create your own school schedule. And then if you work, you are learning how to do that. If your parents make you pay your own bills, it's kind of like you're learning how to adult in those years. Um, and then as far as school, I'd say it gave me a lot of opportunity to explore um, different ways of creating and not being afraid to self edit, I guess, or like being afraid that you're doing it wrong, um, which is a cool thing to learn, especially in printmaking. I learned like wood block and how to etch with acid, and I learned how to bind books, which I never thought I would do. I learned letterpress, which is very labor intensive way of printing words onto paper. Um, but that, I mean, it's very classic. So right as I was graduating is when people started doing video on SD cards, which I know is the norm now. So when I started college, we were still using DV tapes, which I'm sure someone your age doesn't know what they are. Yes. I mean, I wish I knew um, that other art forms existed. Like I had no idea that printmaking um, was a thing. I think that's partially due to arts programs in high schools being cut. I'm sure it's always like a budget issue. Um, but I mean, we were lucky enough to have a dark room and have photography, ceramics, and jewelry. But just as far as like a really robust arts program, I really wish that I could have dove deeper into into printmaking. And because I had all of the darkroom skills that I needed in high school. But yeah, I wish I was able to explore sort of like the hands-on printmaking side. I wish I had known that like just deciding on a major wasn't going to be that important. I mean, it is if you're trying to go into the medical field or like engineering or something, then you definitely need that education. But if you don't know what you want to do and you're just going for college, I think it's, or like, I guess you could graduate from college with a general studies degree, just to have. Um, but I feel like we shouldn't pressure young people that are still going through their formative years. We shouldn't pressure them so much to um, like make a decision without sort of like living life in the real world first.
Mm.
Um, like I should I feel like the youth should be able to sort of have the autonomy to explore the world on their own without the influence of the adults around them. Um,
Hmm.
we're like pushing them into the making these decisions about the what could shape the rest of their life without any sort of context. It's like, well, we think you should do that because we think we know what's best for you. But um, I think an 18-year-old has the autonomy to, uh, should be able to make that decision on their own. And I feel like across the board, it's proven time and time again that a degree doesn't guarantee you a job like it used to. Uh, so yeah, it's a big expensive thing to walk into if you don't know what you want to do. And then there's plenty of college graduates who just went because they were told to, and they walk out and they still don't know what they want to do, so they just get a job because they need a job, and then they're unhappy. So
Mm.
that's sorry, that sounded depressing, but I feel like that's sort of the way the world is going. I'd say apply for all of the financial aid that you can, apply for all the scholarships that you qualify for. But I really do think there's a lot of money out there. You just have to find it and you have to apply for it. Um, I mean, we're lucky to be in Seattle. There's lots of like artist grants to do, especially for young people. Um, so there are ways to fund like specific projects, but I'd say for school, be prepared to take out some loans, and because I don't think free college is happening anytime soon. I hope it does, because that would be great. But yeah, I'd say just apply for all the aid that you can. And I honestly don't think there's anything wrong with starting at a community college and transferring to a 4-year.
Hmm.
That's probably a really smart way to do it, because then you're only paying for uh, 2 years of fancy art school or university,
Hmm.
rather than 4 years. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I'd say definitely go the community college route if you can. Trying to balance like the peer pressure of partying when you have to go to work or um, go to class the next day it's really going to catch up to you. Like I feel like I'm 30 now, so I definitely cannot stay up until 5 o'clock in the morning anymore and then go to work at 8, which is something I used to try to do. So definitely get some sleep. Sleep is really important, especially for I feel like that's like so much of a broken record, but you do need sleep. You're still like, forming your brain and you're absorbing all this information. Uh, so sleep is important. And I would say to feel don't feel like you can't take up space or ask questions, especially to someone who might be like authority, but also who might be telling someone what they think this new college student should be doing. And feel free to like I guess explore their interests and just try it out. Um, like maybe they want to take an elective in something weird, like take a violin class or um, an anatomy class or something. Just try to explore as much as you can, just so you can sort of cross it off the list. Because I feel like I look back during college and I'm like, oh, well, I wonder what it would have been like to go to like a state college, to have a more broad um, opportunity for taking classes. Like I would have been really interested in taking more science-based classes, because I find now that I'm definitely more of a technical person than I am a creative person, which is why I like photography, because there's so many different technical aspects to it. Yeah, and sometimes it's nice to see something like when you start anyone in a visual arts class, they make you take an art history class, and they make you take art history all through your 4 years, which isn't really useful information, but it is nice to be like, oh well, I can tell that this modern piece or this contemporary piece was influenced by uh, this style, whatever, hundreds of years ago. But it's more like I guess it's only helpful as like a party trick. Um, and, but I'm only saying this because I don't currently work in a creative field, so a little sad. So yeah, I'd say to don't be afraid of the freedom to explore stuff. Just get the prerequisites out of the way at the very least, even if you don't know what you want to do. Maybe take a lighter course load, but if you're on the path to get a degree, at least keep up the momentum and just doing like the prerequisites, because everyone needs to pass like English 101, Math 101, etc. So I just say at least do that and make sure the credits are transferable at a real accredited college. I'm not trying to talk down on those online colleges, but I don't think they're as, I don't want to say credible, but like DeVry or whatever, Western Governors University, they're going to be like the for-profit online colleges, and I don't think they offer as much as of a real college experience. But I'm not saying to not go that route. I wouldn't do it myself. Yeah, definitely. So they don't tell you about like how to make money with art until you're a senior. Like they tell you, you take this sort of like exit course, and they give you sample contracts that you can have with galleries, and like sample proposals. Um, and I mean, you can have a show at a coffee shop or whatever, but to actually get in a gallery, you have to do all this paperwork. And let's say, for instance, you have this giant painting and it sells for $10,000. The gallery will probably take 50 to 60% of that, which, yeah, it doesn't sound fun. It's like you spend hours creating this piece and perfecting it, and in the gallery contracts, some of them are 70-30. They'll take a 70% cut, which is insane. Like, what are they going to do with that money? But then yeah, I wish I had known more about like the art world and really how to make it as a studio artist. Um, and like no one's, unless you get lucky and work for a company, you're doing gig work, and you don't get health insurance, you don't get benefits or employee matching 401k. You're just working for yourself. So that just, it creates another barrier to be um, sort of on par with anyone who has like a quote unquote real job, um, which I think is why a lot of me, like me and my classmates, I only know a few from my graduating class that are um, everyday practicing artists, that they do it full time and it pays all of their bills.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's only like a handful of us, maybe
Mm.
three, 4. I would say unless you are planning to work, like produce a lot of work, and you're good at working for yourself and you have like the entrepreneurial energy, um, and you really want to get into galleries, and you're producing a lot of work and you're willing to give a gallery a cut of your earnings, unless you are really motivated to like keep posting your work on Instagram every day. Um, it's really, really hard to make it, especially in a highly saturated environment like, or major, I guess, like photography is. It's like with how available a high quality camera is, like you have a, you have your cell phone. They should consider whether or not they want to have a day job or not, or if they want art to be their day job.
Mm.
I think it's a lot harder to survive, especially in a bigger metropolitan area. Um, it's possible because you are in a metropolitan area, but it's also way more expensive. So it's like a catch 22.
Mm.
Um, I Yeah, unless you're really established, I'd say like a renowned established artist can make it doing art full time. Uh,
Mhm.
but but yeah, I would say they need to consider what they want their day job to be, whether it's like a bartender or barista. I think a lot of working artists are they're in some sort of like food industry job. And I mean, as far as like schooling goes, there's a lot of resources on the internet now to learn pretty much the same stuff that I learned in college. Like, if you're motivated enough to put yourself through like online courses, there's so much to learn on the internet now, like way more than there was when I was in school. Um, and technology is constantly changing too. Um, but I would say it is nice if you're going for like a specific job, then I would say definitely go go the degree route for the exact job that you want. But I don't think to make it as an artist, you need to have a piece of paper that says you can make art.